What is good, YouTube? It is your boy Anime Devil Hunter, and man, what an awesome chapter, Jujutsu Kaisen. Man, we're getting some dope setup that's supposed to come later down the Culling Games, Yuta versus Kenjaku. I'm all in for it. More Yuta stuff. Considering next chapter, we're gonna get Yuta versus Kuroroshi, and I'm all in for that as well, man. Kuroroshi's seeming like he's gonna be a big problem. None's gonna be too big for my boy Yuta. But all in all, dope setup chapter, and I can't wait to review it. But before we get into all that fun stuff that transpired throughout this chapter, if you're new to Anime Devil Hunter, welcome. Here on this channel we cover all sorts of awesome Jujutsu Kaisen content, weekly reviews, speculations, backstories, analysis for characters and whatnot, and just a whole bunch of awesome dope stuff. So definitely subscribe and join the channel. Drop a like if you end up enjoying the video, and comment down below what you thought of the chapter, as well as what's to come in the future. With that being said, let us begin. So we start the chapter off with some dialogue going on with the sorcerer that looks like Chrollo and the Hottie sorcerer. I'm pretty sure you guys all know who I'm talking about. And it's basically them just observing what happened. And apparently Yuta just took out Dhruv. They just got the news that Dhruv is gone, as they see like his Shikigami disappear. And the dude that looks like Chrollo says Kogane. And the Kogane, apparently the Kogane has the hots for him. He says to the Kogane to show me the player who's just gained points within the last minute. And he see Yuta, who apparently has 35 points, 35 for my boy, pretty light. And he's like, Okatsu. And then we jump to the Hottie, the one that uses the atmosphere to give her clothing, I guess. And she's like, okay, so that's the guy who's been gaining points recently. I like not having to see those annoying Shikigami around anymore, but the problem is, and apparently the dude who looks like Chrollo's thinking the same thing as her, and he finishes off what she's saying. Dhruv didn't react even when he got close. And because his hand is full with Okatsu, this may make things a bit interesting. And they realize that Kuroroshi, the Roach Cursed Spirit special grade, is about to make a move. The Hottie says this sucks. So we then go back to Yuta, who's apparently been protecting the people who've unfortunately happened to be in the middle of this Culling game. And I really feel bad for them, considering, you know, these are all helpless civilians. They don't know what's going on, but you know, Yuta, he's a good soul and he's definitely gonna take care of them. So he tells them they can come out of the tunnel that they were hiding under, and that they need to keep moving north until they reach the edge of the barrier. And we see a mom and daughter speaking, and the mother's holding her baby on her back. And man, bro, shit is crazy. Kenjaku, bro, you fuck nigga. The daughter's saying to her mother, please hold me. And the mother's like, be patient. Yuta looks at them, he's like, okay, let's rest a bit. The stadium was the territory of a very strong sorcerer who they just defeated, so he doubts anybody's gonna mess with them for a while. But right in the middle of this, Yuta and pretty much everybody feels a crazy presence, but we later find out that those were actually Kuroroshi's roaches. So back to Yuta and the civilians. Yuta immediately pulls out his sword and tells them like, yo, get inside the stadium right now, like this is serious. So we see this dude who's apparently running from Kuroroshi's crazy roaches that they'll fucking mold you alive, bro. Like the only thing that'll be left of you is a fucking skeleton once they're done with you, let me tell you that. And he's trying to run and calling out for help, and Yuta's like, okay, this is one person, I can do this. But before Yuta can get a hold of him, majority of his body is consumed by the roaches, and he's reduced to a skeleton. And Yuta's thinking like, bro, these roaches are the real fucking deal. Like they're all being strafed by cursed energy, and one of those roaches alone wouldn't be a problem, but they move in a swarm, and of course majority rules, and they essentially became a threat. So following this, Yuta tells the people to immediately run the stadium as the roaches go to approach them, and he tells Rika as soon as they get in to like drop that shit, like close the barrier so that they won't be able to get in, which Rika does. Shout out to Rika. Yuta attempts to slice up the roaches, but in the midst of this, while this is going on, the Hottie the Hottie sorcerer, that's what we're going to refer to her as until I remember her name again. She attempts to, I believe, throw the atmosphere at Yuta, because I don't remember exactly what her curse technique was, but she can control some crazy shit, that's all I know. And she attempts to throw that at Yuta to stop him, but Yuta manages to stop it. So while this is going on, the dude who looks like Chrollo's observing this from a far distance. He's like, his output isn't that bad. But what's amazing about him is his total curse energy, which we all know, you know, my boy Yuta got a lot of curse energy. And the Hottie who's watching this from afar is thinking to herself, you can't see the end of it. The Shikigami is also very powerful, referring to Rika. Shout out to Rika. And Dhruv's murder wasn't pure luck, so she's giving Yuta his prop. While this is happening, she also comments on how Kuroroshi is just as an asshole as she thought. We then turn back to Yuta, who's looking at Kuroroshi. He's like, Kogane, is that also a player? And the Kogane says, yeah, that's Kuroroshi. We then find out that Kuroroshi was at a disadvantage with Dhruv, and so he went into a state of hibernation, essentially starving himself and putting himself into a deep sleep. We then found out that the trigger for this sleep mode was his survival instinct inside Drew's colony. We then also found out that Kuro Roshi has an unlimited appetite. The more he eats, the more roaches he can produce with parthenogenesis, which we find out is a type of asexual reproduction where the embryos develop from an unfertilized gamete. Yeah, you guys are not here for biology, so let's move along. We then find out that Kuro Roshi is now in a state of starvation, so when he sees Okkotsu interfering with his meal, he immediately decided he has to devour Yuta. And in all honesty, Kuro Roshi's hibernation form looks pretty interesting. It appears that he's went through some form of transformation. But moving on, we then turn to what Yuta's thinking to himself. And he's thinking, okay, having finite resources at some point, someone will have to add a rule to allow players to exit and enter the colony as they please. He then says, so there are also cursed spirits. He then thinks, we can't let players like Dhruv and Kuro Roshi who have wide attack range that indiscriminately attacks humans get outside a barrier. There may be similar players like these in the other colonies. Establishing linkage between the colonies is indispensable, but he needs to eliminate all the players first. He then remembers when Fushiguro proposed 2 rules. Moreover, establishing means of linkage and colony entry and exit, but they need at least 4 additional rules to handle a situation. And this part, man, this part really got to me. Like, this is why I love Yuta, bro. Like, he not only thinks about himself, but like he's thinking about everybody. Like, bro, this part really hit. He thinks everyone is exhausted after Shibuya, and neither their mind nor their body can take this anymore. And he then thinks back to Gojo, who had to kill Geto, who was his best friend. And he thinks to himself, I won't let Sensei kill his best friend again. I will kill Kenjaku. I alone will get those 400 points, and that had me so hyped. Like, bro, I woke up at like what, 7 o'clock to read the chapter. I don't know, it's just Fridays, man. Gotta read the chapter. But yeah, so Yuta versus Kenjaku. I'm going to make a separate video for that sometime next week. Dropping sometime next week, considering we have a break coming. And man, Yuta versus Kenjaku, I'm all in for it. Considering Yuta is the most second strongest after Gojo. Kenjaku, I'm pretty sure Kenjaku pretty strong, and all I know, that'd be pretty crazy. But I'm gonna save my thoughts and whatnot for that video, so stay tuned and definitely subscribe. So we then turn to the end of the chapter, and it's Kuro Roshi, and he actually transforms into like a bigger form. Like, he gets wider, and he pulls out his Festa Life Blade, and we come to find out that the Festa Life Blade is a magic sword where life and death cross paths, and that is how we end the chapter. So like I said, just now, break next week. But man, Yuta versus Kuro Roshi, I'm really excited for this. It's been stated many times that Yuta is very strong. And in all honesty, I don't know if Kuro Roshi would be much of an opponent for Yuta, considering they said all 4 of dude that looks like Crollo, Dhruv, the hot chick, and Kuro Roshi, like they're all around each other when it comes to strength, which like even resulted in them forming some unintentional pacts. So in all honesty, I don't know how this fight is going to be difficult for Yuta, considering Yuta is only second to Gojo. So I don't know, but we'll have to see. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the review. Drop a like if you did. Hit the subscribe button for more awesome Jujutsu Kaisen content. It is your boy Anime Double Hunter, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Have an awesome day.